Breath is so vital, isn't it? I think it is the best way to affirm that we are alive. It's an affirmation of life in us, but in general, we take it for granted. It is taken for granted. So either people are not bothered about the breathing patterns, about its impact on the health and happiness, or they are doing some routine mechanically. These are the two common scenarios seen. It's all about becoming mindful about breathing, whether in our day to day life or while doing the special breathing practices. Because it is this mindful breathing that brings the power to it, rather than just a technique, rather than just a protocol. So, with this little introduction, I will sort of start through a slideshow to make this sharing more, I think, interesting. And I think visuals, when they are seen, they create a faster and a better impact. So, let's begin. The power of this power, that is our breath. So, friends, we are all leading a life which is like a race in any field. The entire world is so competitive where we have to keep proving ourselves. So let us see how breath becomes relevant to us in today's time. We hear of so many people complaining of depression, taking antidepressants. Other spectrum, we have people who are anxious and are overloaded with thoughts in mind. It's like a chaotic traffic signal where they don't know how to manage their thoughts. So on one spectrum is depression, on the other spectrum is anxiety, or you can commonly put it together in this bomb that is called as stress. I'm sure nobody is going to be saying that I have no stress in life. So what is observed? That our pattern of breath changes with the state of mind. Okay, so when the mind is calm, happy, content, relaxed, our breaths are smooth, deep, longer, and effortless. When we are frightened, example, let us say we've gone on a roller coaster ride, how the breath is literally, sort of stopped, tightness. You feel that, oh man, what's happening to me? So see how the state of mind is reflecting on the breathing at that time. And when the ride is over, we say, thank God it was fun. And you take a nice deep sigh type of breathing. So these things are happening reflexly. You are not deciding it, but your state of mind is reflecting on the breaths. And then when we are angry, how is the breathing? The breath also becomes hot, speeded, ragged, the body trembles, and we feel that, how the mind is upset, the breath also gets disturbed. And now one very interesting example. Whenever we take a sigh, sigh means when you breathe out with a sigh of relief, like, we do that very often. Like, for example, say the exams are over, we take a sigh of breath. Thank God the exams are over. Or when you had a lot of guests at home and you say, thank God the guests have gone. The sigh of relief. We take a breather. And friends, a pointer here, whenever we sigh a breath of relief, note it. It's an exhalation. Okay, just note this point. Whenever you're sighing a relief, you will exhale. You won't be inhaling at that time. You will be breathing out. So we can say that the breath is the physical counterpart of the mind. So friends, moving on to some techniques. Let us see the implication of all this through our practices. That how certain practices are, the real power. How breath becomes the power there. And let's start with the basic breath. And that is called as baby breathing, belly breathing, or abdominal breathing in common terms. I love this picture and I always like to show it. Why? Because a baby knows how to breathe well. All newborn babies, if you observe them, how their belly is moving up and down when they breathe. In fact, in nature, all animals, including birds, are belly breathers. You look at a dog, you look at a cat, you look at a cow, you look at a horse. They are all using their belly in breathing. Nature intends us to be belly breathers. But unfortunately, we human beings, we are so stressed out. We are so anxious. We are so caught up with our issues, right? We forget this belly breathing and become shallow chest breathers as we mature and as we advance. Okay? So, when we do baby breathing or belly breathing, friends, we are actually activating the parasympathetic nervous system. How? Technically, for the doctors, we feel so good to share that we have a nerve in the body called as a vagus nerve. It is a nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system. And from the brain, it is going down into the abdomen too and lower down. So when we do belly breathing through the nabhi, through the solar plexus, we are actually activating the vagus nerve and the parasympathetic nervous system in the body. So no wonder babies are so happy, so calm, so relaxed always. We adults have forgotten belly breathing. Even today, if I ask a new group, not yoga teachers, if we ask them to take deep breaths, what I have observed is the first thing we do when we have to take a deep breath, we will inhale deep and lift up the chest. Okay? And we begin that way, and the whole pattern of breath is chest and inhalation dominated. But the good belly breath starts by exhaling. Why? Because that's the time you will pull the belly button in. Means breathing out, but pulling the nabhi or the belly button in as we breathe out. So that when we inhale, the belly relaxes. In fact, it is found that chest breathing, which people commonly do, when you say deep breath karo, they will lift up and raise the chest up. So they are inhaling, but what's happening to the belly? The belly button is paradoxically getting pulled in while inhalation rather than actually coming out, which should be the normal pattern when one breathes in. I hope I've been able to make this clear. So let's take a message from here. Whenever we correct a faulty breathing, we begin by breathing out rather than telling the people to breathe in. Okay, so breathe out, pull the belly in, and when you inhale, your belly is going to relax. This is how we correct the faulty patterns of breathing. And as adults, I'm sure it's difficult to follow this pattern 24 hours. But whenever we are reminded, we must check on this and maybe take few belly breaths. It would be like charging our batteries, the way we charge our cell phones periodically. Belly breathing would be a wonderful tool to charge our energies up, stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, and also help to reduce the elevated blood pressure and bring down all the effects of stress on the body. Okay, let's move ahead. A great practice from the yogic sciences. It's Kapalbhati, right? The cleansing breath. As the name suggests, Kapala Bhati, something that brings a glow to the kapal, to the forehead, to the brain. So how can the breath be bringing a glow to the brain or to the kapal? Well, there are many things. One, of course, we know that Kapalbhati being predominantly exhalatory. Friends, see you're exhaling in Kapalbhati mode. It's an active exhalation followed by a passive inhalation. So what do? We are cleansing and purifying the body because when we exhale well, we throw out the toxins through carbon dioxide and even the blood gets cleansed off. Now, something very interesting which I'm sure we are aware of, and that is the Keval Kumbhak. Keval Kumbhak is the spontaneous cessation of breathing after a run of properly done Kapalbhati. So, when we do Kapalbhati, let us say 50 strokes or 100 strokes. Right now, I would not like to go deep into the technique part of it because we all know it, right? Kapalbhati is abdominal breathing out followed by a passive apne aap se hone wala inhalation. Okay, and when we do a run of it and we stop observing with closed eyes, there should be a spontaneous cessation of breathing. Means one doesn't feel like breathing at all for a while. And that is called as Keval Kumbhak. And afterwards, the normal breath resumes naturally. Okay? If after stopping Kapalbhati, one is gasping for air, or one is hungry for air, means the technique has not been done properly. So, a Keval Kumbhak should follow Kapalbhati. Now, what is the relationship to the quality? Well, friends, it's found that when there is Keval Kumbhak, we register a rhythm in the brain called as alpha rhythm. Normally, our brain registers beta rhythm. Okay? Alpha rhythm is when we are calm, alert. It's like a pre-meditative state. The mind is clear, calm, and the conscious mind also is linked to the subconscious mind. And, well, all the bad effects of a hyperactive sympathetic nervous system are getting nullified during this Keval Kumbhak. So that completes the practice of pranayama. Just doing a mechanical run of 100 to, people will even do thousands and 5 minutes, 10 minutes of Kapalbhati as if it's a marathon they are doing. That attitude, reduces that benefit of the practice. It just becomes something mechanical, probably just to remove the carbon dioxide with no beneficial effects on the mind, stress management, and balancing out the harmful effects of our lifestyle to the body and mind. So, henceforth, whenever we practice Kapalbhati, let's not be just focusing on the duration only or the counts only. We focus on the quality, where the belly goes nice and deep inside, where the face is smiling. There should be no stress marks on the face when we do Kapalbhati. The face should be like Gautam Buddha, as the belly is working deep, right? And after a run of Kapalbhati means after every exhalation, there is a spontaneous inhalation. After a run of it, when you stop, one should feel the pause, the Keval Kumbhak. And it is so, so soothing, so energizing. One can only, let us say experience it, because yoga, pranayama are all experiential sciences. The Keval Kumbhak is a thoughtless state of mind. At that time, there are no thoughts. Hey, that's a meditative mind. Alpha rhythm, relaxing and so healing. All right, friends. In fact, even after Bhastrika, when you do a run of Bhastrika, you stop it, you will feel the same Keval Kumbhak. And that adds, or let us say that completes the practice. All right, let's move ahead. The next common practice that we do is Anulom Vilom, alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shuddhi Anulom Vilom Pranayama. Well, friends, why I'm showing this tree behind? Basically to remind us that nadis in the body are like a network, like the branches of a tree, through which energy or the prana is being, distributed to every nook and corner of our personality. And as you can see in the picture, here we alternate between the left and the right nostril, and the technique is very well known, breathing alternate nostrils. So let me share with you, when I was learning my yoga and all these techniques, I used to wonder as a doctor, hey, why to do all this left and right when the air has to go in the lungs finally? Probably it's just trying to make a style out of the whole thing. This is how I used to think initially. But later, when I got to understand the science behind it, I could only say, wow, and compliment our yogis who were like ancient scientists, right? And today science has proven what they said so many years back. And what is that? Why do we need to do this alternate nostril breathing? This is a beautiful scan done, right? Which shows that when we are breathing from the left nostril, okay, they have found that the right side of the brain gets activated. And when we are breathing from the right nostril, the left side of the brain gets more blood supply, more activity, and rather it starts functioning. Let me repeat it. When we are breathing from the left nostril, the right side of the brain is energized. And when we breathe from the right nostril, the left side of the brain is energized. So there is something happening very deep inside because our left and right brain do different functions. Friends, our left brain is the objective part of our personality. So, what are the functions which the left brain is usually responsible and taking care of? Our logic, our analytical approach to various things in life, accuracy, it's logical, it's mathematical, it's practical, planning, strategy, reasoning, all that is being done by the left brain. So you can associate. We are mainly right-handed people, so we are using our left brain more. And honestly, our education system today is developing the left brain more than the right brain. Now, the right side of the brain is subjective in nature. Subjective means all our creative potentials, all the good bhav, the understanding, the compassion, the love, the appreciation of art, music, painting, all that comes from the right brain. Intuition comes from the right brain. So it is subjective in nature. Unfortunately, this aspect of our personality is not that developed as the objective part of the personality. Now, when I'm breathing more when I breathe from my right nostril, I'm energizing my left brain. When I breathe from my left nostril, I'm energizing the right side of my brain. So this practice of Anulom Vilom is alternately working to activate the two sides of the brain equally, which is lacking through our lifestyle and the pattern of education. Hey, isn't this wonderful? All right, friends, that takes me ahead to the next aspect of our breathing to make it more powerful, more beneficial to us. And that is the concept of rhythmic pranayama. Okay, what do I mean by rhythmic pranayama? Give me a second. Yeah. So, rhythmic pranayama means working on the ratios in our breath. In our regular breathing, we are inhaling more, longer, although it is not a very long inhalation we take in our day-to-day breathing, but our exhalations are very short, as I mentioned before. When we even start Anulom Vilom Pranayama, it's not only about mechanically doing left, right, fatafat, fat, kiya and done. No, we have to work deeper by focusing on the time duration. So let's look at this slide first. Rhythmic pranayama. Number one, there should be no force or strain. The breathing should be smooth and soundless even when we do Anulom Vilom Pranayama. We have seen people performing Anulom Vilom with a lot of noises coming from the face, like these type of funny sounds they make, right? This takes away the quality of practice and makes it more stress giving rather than stress relaxing. So there should be no sounds coming from the nose while breathing. Working on the ratios. When we start the practice, we begin by giving equal time to inhaling and exhaling. Okay? Rather than just inhale and exhale. And this can be done by counting in the mind or by timing the breath with the ticking of a clock. Like second ki sui ke saath mein, we work on it. So maybe we can start with 4 seconds to inhale, 4 seconds to exhale. So we are trying to generate a harmony in the breath cycle first. Okay? And 4 to 4, or let us say 4 second to 4 second is not at all challenging for a beginner. You could also do it by counting in the mind. Man mein ginti karenge as we breathe. Because if you'll start saying it through the mouth, how can you do the two things together? Talking and breathing, all right? So we mentally count 1, 2, 3, 4, inhaling, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhaling. And as we progress, it becomes 5, it can become 6, because now the lung capacity is improving and we are able to do this entire thing so well. In fact, friends, breath becomes a very important part even when we are performing asanas. Let's not forget that. Many times in our minds, we take asanas to be only physical and pranayama to be only some techniques for breathing. They are all interrelated. When we breathe mindfully while performing asanas, we add the atma or the soul to the practice. Otherwise, it is just a physical one. But when the mindful breath comes in with the asana practice, oh, it enhances the quality. Focus on the breathing with the asanas too. And right now, getting back to the rhythmic pranayama, where we give equal time to inhaling and exhaling initially and develop, you know what, when we do this, it is found we create something in the brain called coherence. Coherence means there is a harmony occurring between our breathing, between our heart rate, and between the brain waves. Very interesting. Coherence. There are tons of studies done on this, that how mindfully done rhythmic breathing creates a harmony between the functions of these vital organs of the body. Okay, well, beginning with equal ratios, and then as we progress, we give more time to exhaling. So, right now, let's just keep this in mind, that the duration of breath helps us to also remain mindful in the practice. Otherwise, you're doing Anulom Vilom, but the mind is somewhere else. That, oh, I have to go 10 o'clock at this meeting. Oh, my body must have come home. It happens. This is so human. But when we start doing this mental counting technique, not only we help create coherence in the body organs, but we prevent the mind from getting distracted. The monkey mind comes in our control and sort of remains with us. Many times one can even mentally chant the sound of Om, you know, mental, not physical. One chant of Om when you inhale, one chant of Om as you exhale. This also brings mindfulness and makes our practice of breathing more meditative rather than a mechanical practice. One can also play an Om chant, right? And sort of try to breathe with it. Now see, this is a Om of 5 seconds. Huh? It's just an example. You can use any Om recording. Huh? Now just try to inhale with one Om and exhale with the second Om. I'm sure you want this to continue, but allow me to just give you a touch of this experience. How nice one feels when the breath gets systematic, organized, ratio-wise, helping both the body and the mind. The last thing before we move on to the special technique is a little understanding of chanting of any type, or let us say Brahmari and Om chanting, which comes under humming. Friends, whenever we hum, we have no choice but to exhale. You cannot inhale and do the humming at the same time. You will inhale and then you will exhale out apne aap se as you chant the Om or do the Brahmari. And you realize that, wow, when I chant, I'm breathing out so long. 2 to 3 times duration of inhalation. And that's a wonderful way to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, facilitate relaxation, healing. In addition, vibrate and massage the cells through the humming and improve their functions. There are so many benefits: brain alpha rhythm, heart, a balanced blood pressure, heart rate, mind-wise peace, calm, emotional stability, improvement of memory, concentration, and even the IQ. And friends, beautiful to share that Om, which is made out of the 3 syllables, A, U, and the Ma, it is found that when we chant the A, we are massaging the lower part of the lungs and the diaphragm. When we chant the U, We are chanting the thoracic or the madhyama as it is called, mainly the middle part of the lungs. And ma chanting is more top part of the lungs and the body, as you can see here. A, U, ma, lung-wise. Massage-wise, our vibrations are felt more navel and down. Okay. U is more chest and upper abdominal, and ma is more in the face and related to the arms. Brain wise also, there are three different locations of the brain that get massaged with the a, u and the ma. Isn't it fascinating? It is just too much of joy which one gets to know the facts behind these techniques, which we probably are not realizing and doing it mechanically. So friends, let's conclude. Pranayam breathing techniques are very popular, done in masses, good, the awareness is high, but let's not forget that mindfulness brings the pranayam to its highest form. Okay? And the science of breath management is a science which helps us get more pran, better health, and a better, stable, alert, energized mind too. And then these advantages spill out into our lifestyle in the form of inner balance, clarity of thoughts, better handling of life situations, creativity, energy, sakshi bhav, third person attitude to make us healthier, content, stronger, positive, and thus we realize our full potentials. So, friends, breathe well, think well, be well.